What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rise and Grind. Happy Monday. It is Monday, March 3rd.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, how insane is that? We're already
That's crazy.
in March.
The
I feel like
third.
this is what always happens every
Yeah.
year. Literally every year.
Yeah,
we
we get
blink and it's going to be halfway through the year already.
Yep. Yeah.
March
End
3rd.
of Q1 already.
March Madness is upon us.
Yep.
That's
I'm
wild.
not a basketball fan, but that is exciting.
Yeah,
for those that are.
yeah. I don't like college. I don't like college basketball either. But March Madness is upon us, though. Exciting times. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was very good. I saw a comedian, which was nice. Got to get the giggles out.
Good.
Yeah.
Who'd you see?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Who's that?
You know him? No. He's a comedian he's based out of Austin. I think he's out of Joe Rogan's comedy club down there. But he's pretty funny. It's really good.
I've heard his name before. It sounds familiar. I just don't know.
Yeah, he's funny. He has a show, Kill Tony, too, where he brings up
amateur
comedians.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, now I know.
But he's hilarious. How was your weekend?
It's good. Same dad stuff.
Family filled.
Yeah. Same dad stuff. Nothing crazy.
It was gorgeous out this weekend.
Were
you outside a lot?
I couldn't stop being outside. Yeah, I was outside a million times, riding bikes with the kids, going on walks, going in the woods. I actually got stuck. I was telling you this, actually. I got stuck. Me and my son were quadding, Johnny, and I got stuck in the mud, literally, and had to walk.
I can't believe that.
I had to walk with him and then go back and get the quad because I was so stuck in the mud. Now when people say that, I feel like my tires are spinning. I'm stuck in the mud. Like, now I know what that actually means. Like, you hear the saying until you actually live it, and I'm like, dude, it was so frustrating.
Were you just sinking deeper, trying to get out of it?
Yeah. Because back in the woods by my house, there's like a lot of wetlands. So like, there's this one little creek, and I was like, oh, I could totally do this, and I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So, but anyway, it was good. It was a good weekend. Recharged, ready to rock here, ready to get after it. So let's dive in.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Well, this weekend I was thinking about how many different consumers different brands have, right? So for example, me and my dad could like the same exact brand, but we do not respond to the same exact marketing or the same exact messaging. And this is so important when you're thinking of ways to market or position your brand. How are you speaking to your customers? Are you speaking their language or are you speaking your own? And this is really prominent in the medical industry and any tech industries where you have some really smart people who put out marketing material like they're talking to a colleague rather than talking to their audience, right? Where you need to dumb it down a lot more. So I was kind of looking around at different marketing materials on different billboards and even on social media and the way that different brands cut it down to really be simplified and where some others get really lost in their messaging. So that's kind of not necessarily a trend, but a tip of the week of really, it's so important to understand who your audience is and if you really are speaking their language. As an example, Gen Z speaks a completely different language. There's a lot of brands that mimic it and kind of make fun of Gen Z slang, right? But then there's also the brands that lean into it and can really resonate with that audience.
Yeah. It is interesting. But you know what, though? When you look at some brands as an example, if you see a brand that like a Nike as an example, people who are Nikes, like there are people who are like senior citizens that wear Nikes. There are people who are young that wear Nikes. So like, obviously there's so many different ways to tap into those markets, and the world we live in with social media, especially, it's so tailored to what you're doing. That's why obviously creating good content around the people that you follow or that you want to be your customer is so damn important. And, you know, again, we are moving into a world now where AI, all these different components, it's really tailored to the customer now and the follower. So creating content that's not going to engage with your audiences, and especially if you have, you know, audiences that are like segregated, like you said, you and your dad.
Yeah.
So again, your dad way cooler, you boring. So it's like, but that's actual. That's actual.
That is pretty accurate.
That's real life. But so no, respectfully. Respectfully.
Respectfully. He is cooler than me.
But one of those things that it's like, you know, again, you have to tailor to the audiences. But then again, there's different schools of thoughts around that. Because if you think about like Apple as an example, right? Like Apple believes, right? And I think that's in a weird way kind of why a lot of people are leaving Apple, including myself, is like the customer doesn't know what they want. You have to give them what they want, right? And so they don't give you options, right? Yeah. So like in some instances, like Apple is not going to market to you differently, right? It's like, this is Apple, this is who we are. and everybody either likes it, or they don't. And obviously, most people over the years have liked it.
Yeah.
So definitely very interesting. But from a social media perspective, it's one of the things where it's like you have to make sure you're hitting your audiences the right way.
Yeah, because it could be, and we've seen this before with our clients where they're like, I'm creating content, why is nobody engaging with it? And we look at it and we're like, wow, you are going down a rabbit hole of information, whereas your consumer might want it way more simplified. They want to be entertained, right? So the best advice I can give is explain what you do as if you're talking to your best friend or a little kid even.
Yeah. Dumb it down.
Dumb it down.
But so next up, we have so Grok just released, or better yet, X just released Grok's talking model, and they gave it the actual ability to have an unhinged mode, and it's
Really?
absolutely insane. Like it's like
Oh
literally
my
like
gosh.
it's like most younger kids dream pretty much. It was on Rogan, and essentially what they did was Elon was like, hey, he was asking it about Fort Knox essentially, and how right now there's all these theories that were going around about how there's all this money there and gold and whatever. And so Joe asked that question while Elon was holding the phone, and essentially the voice model is a girl, and the girl was like, what are you, some effing conspiracy theorist?
Oh my god.
And it was just going off and saying crazy stuff. So it's interesting right now. So right now, Elon and obviously the X team are in the process of really enhancing Grok, and they don't want it to be held back like most AI. Like ChatGPT, if you ask it certain questions, it's not going to give you the answers that you want. If you ask it political questions, if you ask it conspiracy theory questions, like Rob thinks the Earth is flat. Is that still the case? Still thinks it's flat. This guy.
Oh my gosh. Get him out of here.
He's got a flat head. But so at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not holding anything back, which in a way is really cool, right? But it's also really like the unhinged one. It's like it's freaking cursing, and I can see kids typing in things or saying things and it cursing back. But it was literally insane. The stuff that this model was saying, I was like shocked, right? And it was like Rogan was like, this is it sounds like it's like a 18 or 20-year-old girl that's just going off the rockers.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. But it's going to be interesting though, the unlocked information that you're going to get, right? Because there have been times where I've asked ChatGPT, hey, can you summarize this political event for me, or can you help me understand that? And it'll flat out tell you, no, it doesn't.
Can't get involved in that. Right.
Yeah. Right. So to have a model that can actually do that for you and give it to you straight, because I'm sure that's what it's going to be built on, right? It's just like, here's the facts, do with it as you please.
Yeah.
That's life-changing in some ways.
Yeah, it is. And listen, I will say I do, so like ChatGPT is something that, again, I leverage, Adapting Social and our companies leverage for just idea creation, right? So we like it for the ability to be like, hey, what do you think about this? And it helps us kind of like think through things and brainstorm. But like you said, I mean, certain things, it's not going to give you everything. And that's where with Grok, it's interesting. It's not where ChatGPT is yet, but I know it's definitely on its way there. But the fact that it has no limits, well, I'm sure there are some limits, but it definitely has way less limits than ChatGPT, makes it very, very interesting. So we will be monitoring that very, very closely.
Yeah, that'll be cool to see evolve. I'm sure I can only imagine in 10 years how many different models there's going to be of these things, right? And the integration with it all, it's scary to think about.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It definitely is wild. We're moving to the future, and there's a lot of people who are like, well, what are going to happen to jobs? Are humans going to even need money anymore because AI is going to take over all the jobs and these robots and whatever that they're creating? And, it's like all these crazy things are being said now. But, a lot of people are saying like, hey, when these factory workers had these machines come in and be able to pop out cars like way faster, or like, the other day I saw that guy, Buddy, whatever his name is, the guy from Cake Boss.
Oh yeah.
Like in the factory he was in, these things were spitting out these red velvet cakes so fast, like way faster than humans could. And at one point, I'm sure people thought the same thing then, right? Like, oh my gosh, now humans are not going to have any jobs because all these machines are taking over. And it's like, there's all these advancements. We're going to get better for it. We're going to figure it out. But at the end of the day, like, we have to just be ready, right? You have to know how to work it and how to be, essentially somebody who can let it work for you in your job versus the other way around.
Right.
So you got to be prepared.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I recently saw a tip. It's called the 333 rule for marketing. Again, talking about, I've been really into just copy and positioning and saying the right message to the right person, right? So the 333 rule is start your messaging with 3 powerful words for a headline.
Mhm.
Only 3. Any more than that, and you're going to lose somebody's attention. After that, have 3 sentences of body text.
Mm.
Again, you do not want to go any more. You don't want to go any less. And then you're going to follow it up with 3 really compelling bullet points as your call to action. So this could look something like, you have your strong headline. It's a little bit of a description that goes into explaining your headline. And then 3 reasons why somebody would reach out to you.
Mm.
So what are those 3 value adds or your 3 offers?
Right.
And then you're going to have a really strong call to action. And
Right.
when you keep it that simple, you're not going to lose your consumer in all of the details you're offering on the page. You don't need to add in your entire elevator pitch and all of these different explanations of the services that you have to offer. They really just want to know, what am I getting? What's in it for me? And what am I walking away with?
100%.
Yeah.
Again, I always look at like the Amazon method, like you have to keep it super simple, right? Like at the end of the day, Amazon is super wildly successful with the e-commerce space because they've made the checkout process so simple and the shopping experience so simple, right?
Almost
so it's
too simple.
almost too simple, right? So it's like, but one of those things where it's like at the end of the day, like we have to remember one thing: we as humans are lazy. Everybody is lazy naturally, right? Our brains are set for us to be safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
And so what do we want? Ease, not friction. And so when you have a clear offer and you have simplicity and built into what you're saying, it changes everything. It's so important. So I totally 100% agree with that. And I think most businesses, listen, like if you're e-commerce, we tell this to all of our clients that are in this space, but if you're e-commerce or even if you're selling brick and mortar, like you have to make every experience so seamless. I saw that this year there was a 400 and something percent increase in brick and mortar closure this year.
Closure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, in
Wow.
2024. 400 and something percent closure
I
in brick and
definitely
mortar
see
stores. Obviously that includes big box retailers,
that.
but it also includes these little guys. So it's like the thing is like you have to adapt, all pun intended, but you have to adapt to where the world is going, right? So right now the world is clearly in a place where people are not messing around. Like they want ease of access. Like I know me personally, at the end of the day, if I'm looking for like a suit as an example, like I know a lot of my friends who will buy suits online. I'm old school. I like the experience. I'm going in there. I'm talking to the guy. I want to talk to the people there. I want to look at different things. Like I like that experience. But there are things that I'm not going nowhere near a store for. Right? Like there's certain, like my new monk strap shoes I just got here. I'm not going into a store for shoes. I know my shoe size. I don't need to be walking around with shoes on. But there are certain things that you do need that stuff for. And I'm just sharing that. Like at the end of the day, you have to really understand your market, right? So like if you have an only brick and mortar experience, it's tough, right? Like I'm gonna give a quick shout out. There's I'm probably gonna screw up this name, but there's a restaurant that just opened up actually a month ago in Lincroft called Falcone.
Oh yeah.
And it's really, really cool. Jenny Rich, who was on our podcast, she put it up and we were talking to her about it. So we went there, and the guy was like super like against doing advertising. He was like, I'm only about old school. You got to come here, whatever. But the experience was really, really nice and it was unparalleled. And I thought, I was like, wow, like this. It was a BYOB that had like I don't know, like this really nice like butcher's block vibe, and which is unheard of for BYOBs, obviously.
Yeah.
But everybody's different, and his whole angle was like, hey, we are about full immersion experience. You come here, you're gonna want to come back, right? Now that works for some people, right? Other people, and the majority of people, that does not work, right? So it's like you have to build these experiences that makes people want to come back. And I know we've said this before. I'm going to say it again. We live in a world now where people have people at your front desks answering phones that are not great at customer service.
Yeah.
They're the opposite of great at customer service.
Yep.
So what happens? People come in, they have shitty experiences or okay experiences, and they don't want to come back. So you have to make sure on the front lines of your business that the people that are talking to your customers are locked in. They know what they're doing. They're super like excited for people to be there. They want to go above and beyond. That brings people back. So if you're a brick and mortar, you should do that. If you are an e-commerce, it's the different experience where it's like, just make it super simple, make it so easy for them that they want to come back.
Mhm.
So end rant.
And rant, but
Yeah.
that is really important. The experience people get is really important.
Yeah.
I immediately thought about my Starbucks trip on Friday.
Yeah.
I was so excited to get my coffee first thing in the morning, and the
Mhm.
lady was so rude to me. I greeted her with a smile, and she was so rude. And I thought,
At
I don't think I'm gonna
Starbucks?
come back to this Starbucks now. Honestly,
Wow.
I'll go to a different location.
That's why I don't drink
Yeah.
coffee. People are mean. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. But on that topic though, what I will say, and I actually just had a conversation with somebody that I know, and they're looking to like grow in their career. They're younger, and they were asking me this question, like, hey, like how do I grow in this business, right? And they were asking me, and I want to share this for anybody who is an employee out there that's going to grow in their career. I think the biggest thing is like most people look at what they need, right? So like this person, whether they wanted more money or career advancements, it seemed like it was more financial. But the thing of any job, right? Corporate is a little bit more structured, but in a private business, the biggest thing is this: people that are owners of companies or managers in a corporation, they need to understand the value that is given, right? So if you look at what you do as a business, if you're not overly providing value, then you are not as valuable as you might think. So what you have to do is create yourself as an asset in that business. If you're not an asset in that business, come and say, hey, I want a promotion, or I want a raise, or I want XYZ. You have to have undoubtable proof that you are an asset. I mean, again, in most cases, if you are an asset, then you're not even it's not going to be a question. It's not going to be a thought. But it's always about what can you do for the company. That's what typically makes it a lot better of a conversation. If you approach your boss and you say, hey, here's what I want to do to level up this part of my business, this part of the business I'm involved in. What do you think? Guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more opportunities, and they're going to say, wow, this person's thinking about growing the business. They're not being prompted to do that. They're just doing it, right? That is how you advance in your career. And that's people who are like leaders in any space are people who took the leap of faith in saying, I'm going to step up and I'm just going to go above and beyond and do things that are not asked of me. And the next thing you know, inevitably they find themselves in these higher positions because the business needs it, right? At the end of the day, like a business, again, I'm going to say it's more so in the private sector because that's all my experience. But in the private sector, a business is a living organism, right? It has team, it has a voice, it has so much different components to it that it is a living organism. So if you're here saying, I want to take care of this business, I want to help it level up, it's going to drive you further in the company because you're trying to level up the company, aka this living organism. If you're here saying, hey, I just want more money, that's sucking from the organism unless you're doing something to build it and make it better. So I think one thing that people do too often is they go, well, hey, I want a raise, right? Okay. Well, and again, depending upon what position you're in. So this person particularly was like, hey, I'm looking to make more money, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what are you doing differently? And they're like, well, nothing. I'm just like, doing the same job. I'm like, well, dude, you have to like level up. It's a small business that this guy's working for, but like you have to approach it like, how can you level up what you're doing in that space? So I'm saying this all to say, a lot of times we think, well, I just want to make more money, right? And that makes sense. Obviously, things are not cheap in this world we live in, but you have to look at it like it's your business. Your job is your business. And the biggest thing I ever heard from one of our executive coaches was, you are responsible for your career. It doesn't matter if there's in every corporate company or every private business, there's going to be the typical training, the typical things that they want you to do. But the people who are A players and at the top of any corporation, whether it's Apple, Amazon, or any business, Adapting Social, you name it, these people are people who went above and beyond and got their own training. They figured it out because they knew the best investment you can make on earth is the investment of yourself. That is it. If you can teach yourself how to do stuff better and you can grow, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more opportunities. And then guess what? You're going to get more money. And that's what matters. But if you're the same person you were for the past 2 years, and now you're like, hey, I want to make more money, which in this case, that person was, I was like, dude, it's almost like offensive that you would ask for more money. If you're not growing yourself and you're not building yourself, then why, you have to really come to the table. So I'm saying this all to say, 2025 is a year of freaking growth, right? So think about it in that aspect. Your role is your business. Whatever business you work in, it doesn't matter. Your role is your business and your growth is directly responsible, you carry that responsibility, nobody else. So that all to say, let's level up this year and take responsibility. If you want to grow, you want to make big moves, it is on you completely, nobody else. And that's, you know, my 2 cents on that topic, because we were talking about people at the front desk and people at host stands and people whatever. It's like at the end of the day, like the CEO Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan Chase, he was the like assistant to the president and CEO way a long time ago, and this guy was literally just an assistant. And why is he in his position right now? Because he learned everything from the boss. He took all that information and he said, I want to be the best. I want to be the boss. I want to learn. And he had to work his way up, but he kept leveling himself up, where now he's the CEO of the biggest bank in the world. And he started as an assistant, right? He invested in himself. So I'm saying this all to say, like, we live in a world now where it is on you to level up your career and nobody else. Don't look at everybody in the poor me thing. It is on you. You want to grow, you want to be the best, you want to make more money, make it happen. It is on you, nobody else. And rant.
I feel like that was also a Motivation Monday.
Well, Megan's going to end us with some motivation today. She's digging deep for motivation today. But we ain't done yet, though. I wish we'd zoom in on your face more. Can we zoom in on Megan real quick? Let's zoom in on her face.
But
go ahead. No, not actually. Just like go to her camera real quick. Let's just go to her camera real quick. She's feeling motivational. But not yet. I'll give you some time. She's Googling shit right now.
No, I definitely have some quotes. Just like a quote library.
Yeah. But the one thing that I will say, though, outside of that is the one thing, guys, when it comes to brands right now and just where the world is going, like, content is changing massively and dramatically. And I just want to make sure people understand, like, the stuff you see, and the reason why we love TikTok so much is because you scroll and you're seeing all this cool new stuff all the time, right? Yeah. And like, that's why personally I like TikTok, right? Like, it kind of like, I mean, it freaking puts me in like a different world for a sec, because you're just scrolling like at so many different things, but it's giving people what they want. So bottom line is this, like, in 2025, start to figure out how you can create better content. And again, I said this before, but since I'm on this, like, if you're an employee and you're trying to level up, I'm going to keep going on this rant right now. It's like, you guys are also a part of your own brand, right? So like, at the end of the day, if you're looking to level up, the stuff you post, stuff you put out there is also equally as important. You are your own brand. People, I'll never forget this. My executive coach was like, John, you're your own brand, a couple of years back. And he was like, the people are looking at you, they're seeing what you're doing, they're watching you. And, and when you're, whether it's the way I was dressed, and at the time he said this to me, I was growing my hair out at that time too, as I am right now. And he was like, when your hair, isn't done, it's all poofy and it looks bad and it's all poofy, little poofer. And I'm like, all right, like, damn. He's like, but like, you got to be buttoned up and out. And that's the thing with me. I like being buttoned up. To me, it's not like, oh, damn, I got to throw on a suit. I got to do whatever. Like, I enjoy doing this. But back to that whole theory is like, that's part of the brand that I like, right? Like, I enjoy like dressing, so I enjoy doing this stuff. So, but for you and your brand, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on your personal, I know so many people who are getting opportunities out of the wazoo because of the stuff they put out and the stuff that they're doing, right? So bottom line is this: your brand, your career, how everybody views you is 100,000% up to you only. So be intentional about the content you're putting out, right? Like, we're on social media so often and we're watching other people's lives. We're watching what they're doing. We're watching what they're about. We're being entertained by them. But when you're posting things, right? Like, why? In a way, obviously for your family or some of your friends, you are that person. But what about other people and other opportunities that you can get in your career in the lane that you're in by you posting other things that are entertaining and things like that, that'll help you get in front of more people. So yeah, that's what I'd say on that topic. But is that all she wrote?
I think so.
All right. Motivation. Megaronis.
Okay. I think the motivation for this week is to challenge the status quo and do something different, because so often people daydream or just dream in general of a life that they could live and the goals that they want to accomplish, and they know what they have to do, but nothing changes in their week, right? Or maybe you don't know what you have to do, but you're doing the same thing every single week and you're not getting closer to your goal. So this week, challenge the status quo, do something different. Even if it's 1% different, do something different that can get you closer to your goal.
Let's go, Meg. You always Meg always comes up with some little Megan motivation.
Yeah.
By the way, that was
Like,
sponsored.
what do I need? What motivation do I need this week?
That was sponsored by ChatGPT. Thank you, ChatGPT. I'm just kidding, busting
I'm
it.
like, I don't have ChatGPT.
No, I'm just busting it. But that was really good though, and you always do pull that out when I put you on the spot. So I respect that, I appreciate that. But I
Yeah.
also, actually, on that topic, I do want to just add to that because I think most people, they don't change things like you just said, right?
Yeah.
And so,
But they expect the same.
but right, exactly,
Yeah.
right. But the one way that I think we could look at this, right, because we're already in freaking March, y'all. It's
Mhm.
March 3rd. Okay, wild. But the one thing I will say on that topic, real quick, is if you win the day, you'll set yourself up for the goals you want, right? Most people don't think about it that way. They think, all right, well, I got to get out there. I got to start doing this. I got to go to work. I got to wake up. I got to put my kids on the bus, whatever you got to do. But the thing is, it's like realistically, all of the goals that you have. So that's one of the things that I leverage ChatGPT for. ChatGPT knows all of my goals for 2025, as an example. This is the first year I ever did this. And I was like, knowing all of my goals, health, family, everything, right? Give me a business, give me a direct list and a schedule every day so that I can achieve my goals. Every single day, give me one fixed thing that every day I wake up from this time to when I go to sleep that I can achieve my goals with. And it gave me a full list based on that and a schedule down to the time,
Wow.
right? Of do X, Y, Z, like again, like whatever. So my only point though is that because I said to it, like, give me bite-size my goals so that every day I could do something that's achieving one of my goals or all of my goals, even if it's a little bit. And so every day I'm doing that. And but to your point, it's like challenge what you're doing. If you're not changing, you're not going to achieve your goals.
Mhm.
And but also if you bite-size your goals into a day and you do it every single day, right? As much as you can, maybe not every single day, but at least Monday through Friday, you are going to get closer and closer and you're going to achieve your goals.
Yep.
And I think that's the key here is like do it every day and bite size them so that you have them built into it. Because again, if you're winning one day at a time, like people who have addictions, they live their life day by day, right? Today, I'm not going to have a drink. Today, I'm not going to have a. But for your goals, it should be the same thing. Today, I'm going to do this. Today, I have to do this. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this today. So bottom line is if you win the day, paired with what you're saying, you're going to be set up for success. So happy Monday, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Rise and Grind. We will see you back next week at 9 a.m. Have a great day. Take care, guys.